Okay, let's continue. So we're going to move on from our pharmacokinetics. Tapos na po tayo sa pharmacokinetics. We're now moving to the second part of the course, which is our biopharmaceutics. So what is biopharmaceutics? So biopharmaceutics is the interdependence of the biologic aspects of a living organism, such as a human, and the physical-chemical principles that govern the preparation and behavior of medicinal agent or drug product. It is a general, hindi man general field, it's the general description is that how the physico-chemical properties of a drug and the formulation affect the total drug delivery. Ang inaaral sa biopharmaceutics ay pag ba ginalaw ko itong part ng drug na to, anong kalalabasan in terms of product performance or our drug product performance. Take for example, pag ba nilagyan ko ng disintegrant, nung madaming-madami, bibilis bang absorption? Babagal. So it is the correlation between physico-chemical, formulation, and pharmacokinetics. Every time na may babaguhin kayo physically sa ating gamot, may consequence yun sa ating pharmacokinetics. Kaya inuuna natin ang kinetics. Pag binago ba natin ng ito, kamusta ang performance? Kamusta ang rate of absorption? Kamusta ang bioavailability? So, ang pinaka-basic talaga dito is physical chemistry or our physical pharmacy. The concepts you learn in PhilPharm will now have a consequence on drug performance in the body. So, let's start with the first one, solubility. Okay? Nung tayo ay nag-aaral ng PhilPharm, we talked about solubility. So, we talked about ano yung mga solubility terms, ano yung mga factors affecting solubility, at alin yung mga nagpapabagal or nagpapabilis ng solubility. So, ang maganda naman ngayon, class, sa ating biopharm is uniform ang conditions. Kapag oral, laging ganon. Hindi naman lalamig ang inyong tiyan eh. Hindi naman lalaki ang volume ng tiyan ninyo. So, uniform na po. So, solubility is the most critical and the most studied physical-chemical attributes of drug candidates. The amount of drug in solution as a function of time reaching equilibrium is often referred as kinetic solubility. So, when we say kinetic solubility, it is solubility in relation to time. Bakit natin kailangan na may aspect of time? Kasi class, hindi pwede na sobrang tagal ng solubility. Pag ang solubility nyo, siguro mga 3 oras bago maging fully soluble, ay baka lampas na po yan sa ating, anong organ? Intestine. Okay? Dapat, bago pa makarating sa intestine, solubilized na siya. Otherwise, wala, itatain mo lang. Bakit importante? Kasi class, kung hindi soluble ang inyong gamot, hindi siya ma-absorb. Yun lang po yun. If hindi soluble ang inyong gamot sa tubig or sa inyong intestinal fluid, hindi siya ma-absorb kasi napakaliit lang ng allowable particle size sa cell membrane. Kaya kapag hindi siya kasama ng tubig, wala. Itatain nyo lang din po iyon. Sunod pong aspect, lipophilicity, log P or log D. Saan to importante? Sa diffusion. Okay? Recall that pagtaas ng lipophilicity, pag soluble niya sa oil, pagbilis niyang makapasok sa ating cell membrane. So it is important that we study lipophilicity so that alam natin kung gaano siya ka-absorbable. Anong routes of administration siya pwede. If it is very lipid soluble, kahit nga siguro sa inyong bibig na-absorb yung gamot, pwede siyang sublingual. Kapag naman po, hindi talaga soluble ang inyong gamot, pwedeng IV. Hindi lipophilic ang inyong gamot, pwedeng IV, pero depende rin kung saan kayo, ano yung target receptor ninyo. Sunod, salt forms and polymers. Okay, ako na. Salt form and polymers. Nakita nyo na ba or naalala nyo ba yung polymorphism? Polymorphism is the phenomenon in which a drug appears in multiple crystalline forms. So if you recall your Phi-Pharm, pinag-aralan natin yung mga polymorphism, ano yung mga shapes ng crystals, ano yung effect niya in terms of stability. So when we formulate drugs, we need to pick the ideal salt form or the ideal polymorph. Kasi, pag sobrang stable ng ating polymorph, pwedeng stable nga siya in storage conditions. Pero ang effect nun, baka naman hindi siya maging soluble sa tubig or hindi siya malusaw sa loob ng tiyan. Kapag naman po sobrang unstable niya, mabilis siya maging solution, baka naman hindi siya tumagal as a actual dosage form. Baka expiry niyan, 3 months lang, edi tapon ng tapon. So, kailangan din pong i-consider natin ang ating polymorphism. Take note, I am not discussing the specifics with you anymore. Like, hindi ko na iniisa-isa ano ba solubility, ano ba yung lipophilicity, ano ba yung polymorphism, kasi galing na kayong Phi-Pharm. Tama? Sinong Phi-Pharm nyo? Oh, wala naman bang tuturo ng Phi-Pharm? Meron pala isang beses. May isang beses na iba nagturo. Sunod. Okay? So again, bakit tayo nagsa-salt forms and polymorphs? Bakit lahat ng ating gamot ay usually ay salt? Chloride, chloride, becylate, ano pa? Usually chloride. Yan yung pinakamadali chloride. Kasi, pag salt form ang isang bagay, mabilis siyang maging soluble. So, when formulated as a salt, solubility increases. So, kaya maraming gamot natin ay naka-salt form. Potassium, clavulanate, sodium, amoxicillin dihydrate, monohydrate. Yan. Okay. Another thing to consider in biopharmaceutics is stability. Hindi po ba pang Phi-Pharm lang yon for expiry date? If you recall, pinag-compute ko kayo ng expiry date. Yon, ano yung pinaka-importanting factors doon? Init. At saka humidity. So it's also important to consider stability. Kasi, pag hindi stable ang ating formulation, wala ring point. Baka bago pa i-take ng ating pasyente, ay wala na yung gamot. Mababa na yung amount of drug in our substance. So that is why we also need to consider stability. Another thing, pH stability profile. When we say pH stability profile, it is the stability of your drug on different pH conditions. Bakit? Ayos lang sana kung lagi siyang nasa normal solution, buffered. Pero, pag binigay mo yan sa inyong bibig at pumunta sa inyong stomach, ano kanyang unang may encounter na environment? Acidic. Bago kapag nag-drain na, nag-gastric emptying, saan pupunta? Sa intestine. Anong environment doon? Basic. So dapat, kino-consider din natin ang stability across different pHs. Otherwise, we might have a drug that is unstable in acid, kailangan nating enteric coating. Kaya tayo may enteric coating eh. Next, particle and powder properties. We also need to consider this. Tandaan niyo yung particle size. Okay? Sige, let's pick a random person. Hindi yung mga regular. Doon tayo sa irregular. Miss Talain. What is the name of the formula that governs settling rate or sedimentation? The formula that governs sedimentation. Bibigay ko sa iyo yung formula, baka maalala mo. Specific gravity of powder minus specific gravity of solution over 18 times viscosity times 980 cm per second square. Sige, magtanong tayo sa regular. Miss Pernes. Nagsisimula sa letter S. Stokes' law of sedimentation. Stokes. Okay? Yung Stokes' law, ang kinukuha doon, actually, kaya lang naman tinuro yung Stokes' law of sedimentation. Kasi it's one way of getting particle size. Other ways of getting particle size, sieving, microscopy, laser diffusion, Coulter counter, etc. Maraming ways ng pag-determine. Kaya tinuro yun sa FEFARM. Bakit importante ang particle size? Kasi particle size will play a role in flow, wettability, and surface area. Lahat po ito ay importante sa solubility. The finer your powder is, the more surface area is available for wetting, the faster it is solubilized. So, importante sa atin na pino ang ating gamot para mabilis mag-solubilize. Hindi po ba i-compress din naman yon? Oo, i-compress din naman. Pero ang importante, pag nag-disintegrate na siya, it would solubilize rapidly. In the manufacturing setting naman, we don't want the particle size to be very fine. Kasi ang nangyayari, nagkukumpul-kumpul. So dapat, tama lang, gumugulong, it moves from one machine to another. Next, ionization and pKa. How does ionization and pKa affect things? If your drug is a weakly acidic or weakly basic substance, it would perform differently kung saan siya nilagay. Remember, nung absorption, acid to acid, unionized. Base sa base, unionized. So, we also need to take that into consideration. Okay. So, ano ba ang ginagawa natin? Ginagawa ng isang formulation. Isang formulation pharmacist. So, kasama ang mga chemist, ang goal ninyo in formulating a drug product is picking the recipe so that you can optimize delivery to a target tissue via a specific route of administration and make it compatible with large-scale product manufacture. Ito yung goals nyo. Kailangan yung gumawa ng dosage form na nagde-deliver ng gamot effectively. So marami kayong i-consider doon. Particle size, stability, etc. Lahat ng diniscuss ko kanina. Pangalawa, dapat practical din siyang gawin as a dosage form. Pag minanufacture nyo ng 10,000 tablets per day, kaya din. So ang challenging dito is you need to design a drug na possible i-manufacture at the same time effective sa katawan. Kaya po, yun ang trabaho ng isang nagfo-formulate. Hindi lang po siya pipili ng, itong ingredients natin na, nandiyan naman yung active, gagana na yan. Sometimes it's not that simple. Sometimes we come up with problems. Hindi soluble, bagsak sa dissolution, tapon, palit formulation. So, hindi lang din naman po active ingredient ang laman ng ating drug. We have our excipients. Anong filler ang gagamitin mo? Anong disintegrant? Gaano kadami? Anong kulay? Anong colorant? So, the formulation is key to a compound's biopharmaceutic profile since all of this are intimately linked to pharmacokinetic results. Yung mismong ingredients na pipiliin at gagamitin nyo in specific ratios would ultimately affect pharmacokinetic results. Most important diyan kapag oral, pag nag-fail, makapasok ang gamot sa loob ng katawan because of formulation problems, bagsak ang bioavailability. Pag bagsak ang bioavailability, bagsak ang plasma level concentration. Pag bagsak ang plasma level concentration, hindi nagana ang ating gamot. Okay? Naintindihan? Dikit-dikit naman yun eh. Ang importante talaga, makapasok yung gamot sa katawan. Okay. Wait. Yan. Application tayo. So, as an integration of physical and chemical biologic pharmacokinetic principles and impact on clinical efficacy. Hindi pa yan. Parang wala pa tayo dyan. Tapos na ba yun sa ano? Hindi pa, yan. Yan pa lang. Atra. 125. Wala pa tayo dun sa BCS. Iba yung discussion ng BCS. Okay, nakita? Okay. So, let's continue. So, una, BCS bang una dyan? Hindi. Alikdangan muna natin yan. Okay. Yan. Importance of biopharmaceutics and drug development. Tatanggalin ko pala dapat yan. Okay. Una, magsimula na tayo sa tunay na buhay. Like, ano ba ang kwenta ng ating gamot? Una, nakapag-drug disco na kayo? Okay, nakapag-drug disco na kayo. Sino kayong drug disco ninyo? Hindi, yung sunod na part. Sinong drug disco? Okay. Una, preclinical muna tayo. Candidate selection. Ganito ang modern way na paano maggawa ng gamot. Okay? As in from scratch. Una, mag-i-in silico tayo. We're going to pick a target enzyme. We're going to babattery natin. We're going to select a lot of chemical structures. Ibabato natin sa enzyme hanggang sa dumikit sa computer. Okay? Pag dumikit sa computer, goods. Testing natin ngayon. Bibili tayo ng enzyme. Bibili tayo ng structure na kumabit. Titingnan natin ngayon kung nag-iiba yung effect ng enzyme pag nilagay natin yung ating test drug. Pag gumana ang ating test drug, dito na tayo pupunta. We have a proof of concept. Alam natin na pag nilagay natin itong gamot na ito at itong enzyme na ito, kumakabit. At nung kumabit, naganda or nabagal yung something. Ngayon, ang unang ginagawa is bago natin i-push sa clinical trials, huwag tayong magsayang ng pera, check muna natin kung possible ba siyang maging gamot in the first place. So we're going to identify a potential drug candidate. Pag nagawa natin yon, pwede pong imaginary yung inyong gamot. What do I mean imaginary? Hindi pa nasisynthesize. Possible kasi sa in silico, sa computer, dagdag lang kayo ng dagdag ng functional groups. Then pag wala pa yung structure na yon, ipapasynthesize nyo pa lang. So pag nasynthesize na yon, check nyo ngayon kung kumakabit. Then ang pinaka-importante, does it have good ADME properties? Doon sa aming results last time sa thesis, we already had problems with solubility. We didn't pursue higher concentrations of drugs, primarily because mag-precipitate na siya. Pag nag-precipitate na siya, wala na rin kwenta. Hindi na siya ma-absorb. So, kino-consider na rin namin ang druggability. So, we conduct tests to establish parameters, physicochemical parameters, and stability. Yun po ay sa candidate selection pa lang. Pag maganda ang kanyang druggability, meron tayong tinatawag na druggability. Meaning kanyang solubility, permeability, lipophilicity, kino-consider na natin yon. Pag good siya, possible siyang ma-formulate. Pag hindi possible na formulate, malamang tapon yung gamot. Maganda siya in vitro, pero baka pag nilagay natin sa tunay na biologic models like rats, baka itae lang din yung gamot. So, sayang lang. Kung nagkataon class na maganda, ang ating kinetic parameters, solubility-wise, ito yung sinasabi ko. We need to move on to clinical trials. So, pagpalagay na, possible siyang ma-absorb ng ating gamot. Possible siyang ma-absorb ng ating katawan. Kapag siya ay for clinical development na, mag-perform na tayo ng clinical trials. Unang-una, we conduct safety studies to establish safety profiles. Marami rin po nabagsak dito. Maganda, nung una, pinoformulate. Nung binigay sa daga, patay ng patay. Meron kasi tayong hindi nakikita sa computer at saka sa in vitro na pag nilagay natin sa biologic medium ay delikado. Hindi natin na-predict nung na-metabolize ay lethal yung metabolite. At saka after safety profile, we also start to tinker with the formulation. Yung starting formulation nyo at saka yung dulong formulation, that might be entirely different. Kasi nga, we're trying to figure out alin ba yung best possible combinations. So we try different API forms, iba't ibang crystal forms, iba't ibang halo ng formulation, at chinecheck natin ang kanyang dissolution. Ultimately, we want a drug that is soluble in the human body. Okay, kapag po lumampas na tayo sa safety, lampas na tayo sa safety, goods, hindi nagkakos ng cancer, hindi nakakamatay agad. We're trying to establish safety and we're trying to build pharmacokinetics. Aalamin natin ngayon ang pharmacokinetic principles. Pag nag-dose ba tayo ng gatok, gano'ng katagal ma-eliminate, saan siya napunta, anong effect anong kanyang KE, anong kanyang clearance. So inaaral natin yan. Two types of biopharmaceutic studies are often conducted in order to assess comparability and suitability. Una, we perform relative bioavailability studies. Marami tayong formulation kasi tinetest pa natin Formulation A, Formulation B, Formulation C. Kino-compare natin alin ang may pinakamagandang bioavailability. And we also perform absolute bioavailability. Lagi natin i-compare, when compared to IV, alin yung the best. The best pa. A special type of study, which I will focus on later, is bioequivalence. When we say bioequivalence, it is a certain type of bioavailability study to compare equivalence. We're not looking for differences. We're looking for similarity. Is drug A similar in bioavailability versus drug B? Yun lang naman, bioequivalence. I will touch on that later pag mga generic drug products na tayo. And kapag tapos na ang basic, we're going to move from phase 1 to phase 2, phase 3. Lahat na to ay ini-establish na yung final recipe. Kasi pinag-aralan mo nung una ano yung effect ng pagpapalit-palit ng something into its bioavailability. Sa dulo ng clinical development, nafa-finalize na yung final recipe or yung final formulation. Okay? Alam niyo ba na sa generic drug products, pwede mong kopyahin yung gamot. Kasi pwede naman talaga. Pag expired na yung patent, pwede mo nang gamitin yung gamot. Like for example, paborito, sildenafil, Viagra. Pwede mong gamitin yung sildenafil. Pero, ang bawal mong gamitin ay yung recipe. What do I mean? Pwede mong gamitin yung active compound, sildenafil. Pero yung eksaktong recipe, paano siya gawing tablet, bawal mong kopyahin yon. Gagawa ka ngayon ng iyo. At kailangan mong patunayan na pag pinag-compare yung iyong generic at yung pinagkopyahan mo na branded, pag pinag-compare mo, pareho lang ang performance. Kaya yun ang aanuhin natin mamaya in bioequivalence testing. Okay, that's the first PowerPoint. Okay. 5-minute break, iinom lang ang tubig.